Hi, this is Mad Nomad, and this is the demo of Rob2E module updater extension. So I worked with Rob to build this extension to help out people who have previously bought Rob's modules in the DMsGuild. The challenge is that when updates are made to the different modules that Rob has built, like if there's a new book that comes out, so there's new codes and the coding effects, or new code changes to Fantasy Grounds, so he has to update modules, anything like that. The problem is you don't necessarily know that those updates have been made unless you manually go to the DMs Guild and are checking that. Then you have to download the files and you have to move them over to your Fantasy Grounds folder manually. And we can't move them over to the Forge directly for reasons we won't get into here. But what this will do is this will make it so you don't need to actually do any of that anymore. When this extension is installed, it will automatically notify you whenever there's anything new about any of the modules that you own, and it will automatically update that code and send it, will insert it directly into your campaign. So you actually won't even need the modules loaded anymore. I won't get into like the magic of exactly how that works, but I'll show you effectively what that does here in a second. So, all right, so when you load this up, you're going to see a screen like this. And this is basically a list of all of Rob's modules, and it will show you if you own it or not, and it will show you if there's an update available or not. And then it'll give you an option of whether you want the code for this module loaded in this campaign or not. And if you actually own the module and have it installed via this process, then the link will appear here to view the manual for that that module, which I'll show you in a second. And then lastly, there's a link to the store for a module. So for any module you don't have, if you want it, you can get it there. Or if you just want to reference it for something you already own, you can get to that easily from there as well. So by default, anything that you own of Rob's already will be selected as load, and that you want it to be loaded in this campaign. If there's some things that you own that you don't want used in this campaign, like we can just go through and check off whichever ones you're not interested in. I'm just going to go through and select a few random things just to show you how that works. Some classes I'm not planning to use. All right, so I've unselected a few things here. And the next thing you'll see is there's this load, due date, and close. And when you press this, basically anything that has a load checkbox is going to make sure that that is activated in this campaign. I'll go ahead and start it. And then it'll be available to you directly through the spells and things. So the first time you run this, it's going to take a little bit to actually load because it's kind of like opening all of these modules at once. You'll only need to do that once, though, after you've done this install, unless there's a change to any of the code effects. And when that happens, you'll be notified. I'll show you that in a minute. But otherwise, you won't need to load this every time you load the campaign. It's one long load, one time, but that's basically it. And so as I was mentioning, now let's say that you do this installation while we're waiting for it to load. The next day, Rob makes some changes to a couple of the modules to include some new coding effect updates that people have kind of reported or something. All right, well then when you load your campaign, this window will pop up again and it'll have the update symbol next to those modules that have been changed on the DMsGuild. And you'll have the option to reload the code for those modules so that you'll get those updates and you won't ever have to go to DMsGuild. And it'll insert it directly into the campaign like I was mentioning, which we'll see here as soon as this finishes updating. Again, I know it does take a while, but that's only the one-time thing. That's because I actually have all of Rob's stuff here. So if you don't have everything, it won't be this long, and it is only the one time. It should be close to done now. And as Rob adds new modules, those will be added here as well if they aren't automatically handled through Forge updates by themselves. Okay, we're finished now. So what that has done now, if you look in, well, first I'll show you that my modules, right, I don't have any modules activated. right? But if I go to like the spells, for example, and let's go to the categories, you'll notice that I have the effect codes from Rob's modules directly installed in this campaign. So, and they're also categorized, right? So now I can work with these just like you have in the past, dragging them to character sheets and all that, and also like tables. The critical hits table is also all right here. So all this is now directly part of this campaign itself. And you have access to all of that basically through the normal library methods. Okay, now let's say I want to change something. I can just go /Rob2E, do that anytime to bring that window back up. And here you'll see now how this has been updated. It shows the ones that I didn't install, right? That's showing as an update available because it's not installed yet. And the ones that I have, you notice there's no longer an update checkbox here. And you'll see the manuals are available for the items that I have installed. You can read through those basically to get any information about that module. And there's also the help button here to open up that. And right now that's blank, but that'll be filled out when this launches. And I think that's pretty much everything. And so as I was mentioning, like if Rob makes some changes to like the effect coding for feats and updates of the DMsGuild, and you have this extension installed, whenever you load this campaign up, this window will pop up at the start of the campaign, and it'll have a little star here indicating, oh, there's been a change here. And then you would just hit the load new data and close, and it will update the updates for you, and that'll be all you have to do. So that pretty much covers it. If there are any other questions, you can, of course, leave those in Rob's channel, and he'll be able to help you out, or I will be. Hope this is useful to some people who are, a little bit overwhelmed by trying to keep track of updates. And also, if, I don't know, the side benefit, you don't have to have all your module activations windows here cluttered up with all those, but that's a little minor side benefit. So yeah, hopefully it's useful. And if you have questions, let us know. Thanks.